Dear students, I read the lesson and you listen carefully until you understand it well. Then you too read it loud. When you become perfect, record your reading and send it to me for correction. Class 5 English Unit 1 The Origin of Puppets. Once upon a time in China, in Han times, the wife of the emperor became ill. After being sick for a long time, she died. The emperor loved her deeply and missed the empress a lot. He would spend most of his time hearing various stories from her. He missed her so much that he felt miserable after her death. The people of his empire and his ministers were a worried lot. They thought that he would probably overcome his grief as time passes. But his loneliness affected his health and his work. Whenever the courtiers or ministers came to him for advice, he would simply say, "No, I will look into that matter some other day." He gradually lost interest in the activities of the court and of the people in his kingdom. The emperor would often sit in his beautiful palace garden and watch a fleet of swans, a flock of ducks, or a herd of deer that roamed about freely. The deer had been gifted by a king of a faraway country, but nothing seemed to cheer him up. A troupe of dancers also performed at the court, but to no avail. Everyone wanted to help the emperor come out of his sadness, but nothing seemed to work. One day, a priest in the palace saw some children playing with dolls. The dolls made shadows on the floor, which appeared to dance while the children played. They tried to catch the shadows and laughed as they played. The dancing shadows of the dolls gave the priest a brilliant idea. He hurried home and got down to work. The priest first made a puppet with cotton and painted it to look like the empress. Once the puppet was ready, he invited the emperor for a special puppet show. The emperor was not willing to come for the show, but finally agreed. The priest was his old friend, so he accepted the invitation. The priest said, "Your Majesty, the puppet show is specially meant for you. Kindly come." The emperor nodded. "If you insist, I will be there." In the evening, the priest kept a light behind a curtain and stood there with his puppet. When he moved the puppet behind the curtain, it cast a dancing shadow on it that was clearly visible to the emperor on the other side. As he sat in front of the curtain and watched the dancing shadow, he listened to the stories narrated by the priest. The stories were about the empress and the emperor. They were simply wonderful and brought back many wonderful memories to the emperor. He smiled and felt happy. It appeared that the shadow was narrating the story. The emperor clapped his hands with joy and said, "I would like to watch the puppet show every evening. I am delighted." Every day, the emperor began to attend court, talk to his ministers and courtiers before he watched the puppet show in the evening. He started taking great interest in his people. He built schools and hospitals in the name of the departed empress. He felt happy when a crowd of people would gather round him and praise him wherever he went. They would cheerfully shout, "Hail the Emperor! Hail the Mighty One!" The priest spoke to him one day, "Your Majesty, joys and sorrows are part of life. Whenever a person faces sorrows, he or she should always think of good things and happy moments of life. They act like a source of joy that drive away all the sadness and cheer us up. They teach us to live happily and do good deeds to make others happy while remembering those who are no longer with us." The emperor smiled and nodded. "I thank you for guiding me and for such wise words."